At the Y, she got called stupid by an older girl that was there, and when I went to go pick her up, she was just in full-on tears.
Some posts be directed, and like everybody knows who they're talking about. It was just like another way to get snide remarks in, and once it's out there, it's out there.
Good morning to everyone out there. Today, it's all about bullying. It is such an important topic. Cassandra and I both feel so strongly about the effects that bullying has on children. It's devastating sometimes. You and I talk about it a lot. So this entire show, the entire hour, you guys, is dedicated to bullying, what you can do to help your kids if they're being bullied now. Maybe your kid is the bully. We're going to help you maybe fix that situation, and then talk about the emotional effects of bullying because they can last a lifetime. So stick around, don't go anywhere.
That's right, and we know it's becoming more and more prevalent. We're hearing it in the news every single day. And someone who is joining us today, who joined us yesterday, he also has a personal experience. We want to welcome back to Daytime at 9, Christian Marchegiani. Welcome.
Ladies, thank you.
Also known as the boxing coach.
Yes, our daytime Aussie. Here.
Welcome from Oz.
Thank you.
Welcome. And we do want to start with, yesterday we kind of talked a little bit about your weight loss story, but what we didn't kind of touch on is your personal story about bullying. You were actually bullied and you were a bullier.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was, as a child, I can remember back to when I was about 8 or 9 years old, until the age of about 15 or 16, I was heavily bullied, physically, mentally, emotionally. And, after I went through that, I actually then found myself becoming a bully because I was so afraid of people hurting me that I was the one that was doing the bullying and doing the attacking just to defend myself.
So it was out of fear, really?
Yeah, I think most bullies operate out of fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of not belonging, that they just want to be a part of something. So whatever void is filling in their life, they try and fill it by putting other people down.
And bullying, it can start as early as pre-K, nursery school, unfortunately, sometimes, and then it can last throughout your life, even into the workplace. But there's different ways to deal with it as you get older. But I think a lot of people, they feel helpless, maybe if their child is being bullied, and so that's what we want to help them with today, Christian. And I know that you have some great tips and ways that kids can build confidence if they're being bullied.
And that's exactly what it's about. It's all about building their confidence and making them realise that it's not their fault and they're not different.
Well, Christian, I want to touch on the fact that you were an overweight child, and I think, don't you agree that that's probably key? There's lots of young people who are being teased and bullied if they're a little bit overweight. This is you right here.
You're adorable, first of all.
How cute were you?
Yeah, well,
but you were overweight. You were
you look different.
Almost 300 pounds?
Yeah, well, in kilos, it's 148 kilos, so I think that's over 300 pounds.
Wow. Goodness. Now, how old were you there when you were at your heaviest?
At my heaviest, I was 19 years old, and I was wearing size 48 jeans and triple XL shirts. It wasn't a good feeling.
How did that affect you? Did you feel out of place? Did you feel left out from the other kids? Yeah,
I did feel left out, especially when I was younger. I stood out. But then as I got older, I just thought, well, this is me. I'm big. I'm strong. No one messes with me. I'm always. I was the one that was in charge, and like I said, I felt like a bully, like a thug.
And now you're strong, but in a different way. Not just muscles, but mentally and emotionally, and you're helping other kids develop that strength as well, which is so awesome, and we need more kids to be like that. I want to go over some statistics with you guys. I think this might surprise some people, maybe not, but in 2009, a nationwide survey found that about 20% of high school students reported being bullied on school property in 12 months preceding that survey. And then during the 2007-08 school year, 25% of public schools reported that bullying occurred among students on a daily or even a weekly basis. A higher percentage of middle schools reported daily or weekly occurrences as opposed to primary and high school, which seems to still be the case. It's always been the case. They say middle school is the hardest time. Your body's changing, everyone's developing. Some kids still have a lot of baby fat. Some kids, you develop too fast. It's a really hard time for kids.
Well, that's where you're looking to fit in. That's the age where you don't know if you're a teenager or you're not a teenager, or where do you belong? Do you belong with the cool kids, or are you a nerd? And look, those statistics, they're the ones that only get reported. There's a lot of kids that are living in silence that don't even report it. So, you know, it could actually be higher than that.
So
They
Christian,
internalize it.
chances are your child has at one point in their life been bullied or experienced this. And this is why it's so important to you to go out and spread the word, because you feel very deeply about this, don't you?
Yeah, because my life could have gone either way. You know, I could have ended up being in jail because I was bullied, and then I became a bully. I became a thug. I got in trouble with the law, and yeah, my life could have turned out differently, but it didn't. I was given a second chance. So,
and now you're doing positive things with it.
That's great.
Well, we want to know what you think about it, you guys. That is our Facebook question/comment of the day. Log on there. We want to know if you have any questions for our panel. We have a panel of experts. We have a psychologist, also a counselor in the NISD schools. We also have Christians. So if you have a question for them, please send them to us. Or if you have a story or just something that you would like to say about bullying, we want to hear about it.
That's right.
Because people have a lot to say about it.
Even just a comment on the show. We appreciate all your feedback.
Yeah,
okay,
that
all
too.
morning we're talking about bullying, what to do if your child is being bullied, or perhaps what if your child is the actual bully?
Yeah, we don't think about that as much. We're also talking about adult bullying and a different kind of bullying dealing with the internet. Plus, on a happier note, our daytime kiddos are getting ready to learn a very important lesson this morning. This Texas author, he's found a way to teach the littlest members of your family all about bullying, and he's going to show us live on the show. Did somebody hurt your feelings yesterday?
Yes.
What happened?
I didn't know what happened when we were watching Will.
It just hurt your feelings when she called you a name?
Yes. And she said I'm not her friend.
Well, unfortunately, bullying starts at a very early age for so many children, and the negative effects can last throughout their lives.
That's right. So what can you as a parent or guardian do to help your child from becoming a victim? And if they are currently in the middle of a bullying situation, how can it be fixed? We are welcomed by Dr. Deborah Healy, who's a psychiatrist with the Northside School District. Welcome, along with Kimberly Ridgely, head of counseling, and of course, our motivational boxing coach.
We can't forget about you, Christian. Thank you both, or all of you, for being here. I want to get started with you, Dr. Healy, first, if we could. You know, so many times, I think some of these statistics are lower that are reported. Right. Is it because so many children internalize it? They don't want to talk about being bullied? And if so, why do they feel like they can't tell someone?
Often children feel very diminished after they've been bullied, and they feel less confident, more frightened, fear of retaliation, fear of what their friends will think, and so they just close up and don't share it with anyone.
So you think some of those statistics we were reading earlier, you think they're probably higher?
Most likely, they may be higher.
Yeah.
The statistics indicate that maybe 1 in 4 will actually report, but in a lifetime, many individuals experience some sort of bullying.
Yeah.
Christian, you obviously have a very personal experience with this. What do you think about what Dr. Healy says?
Yeah, well, it's true. Initially, you don't want to report it because you're scared. You think that they're going to attack you or you're not going to be cool, so you do suffer in silence. Only when you start getting into trouble or you start reacting, then you do talk about it. But most of the time, a lot of the when I was growing up, a lot of the teachers weren't really equipped with dealing with bullying. It was always just swept under the carpet. So you just felt like, well, that's what kids do. And you know, there is a difference. I believe that there is bullying, and then there is kids being kids. There is kids that just grow up, they tease one another, they push one another, it happens, you get on with it. But then if it happens every single day and it's the same kids picking on you, teasing you, then you know, well, that is bullying.
That is when it becomes the problem.
Exactly.
And Kimberly, you are a counselor with NISD. You're in the schools, you're hands-on, you see it every day, unfortunately. What types of bullying do you see mostly? And is it different the way girls are bullied as opposed to the way boys are bullied?
There is some difference in the way girls and boys bully. Boys tend to be more physical in nature, whereas girls do it more covertly. It's behind the back, it's the shunning of friends, right. I'm not going to sit with you at lunch, those types of situations.
And rumors, starting rumors,
Absolutely.
this girl did this, she said this, and maybe it's not true, but then it's out there, like one of our young people said there earlier, it's out there and then you can't get it back.
Right, and with social media, once it's out there forever, and so kids feel there's some anonymous feature to being behind a computer, and so they'll send it.
And we're going to get into cyberbullying a little bit later in the show. Christian, what do you think? Is there a difference between girls and guys, the way they bully?
Yeah, definitely. I find that with girls, it's all about popularity, who's the prettiest, who dresses the best. But whereas with guys, it's all about who's the toughest, who's the coolest, who plays sports better. So there is a difference, but I have seen girls get physical as well and be quite rough. But you know, at the end of the day, it does affect both. So
and it does affect you. And so let's say a parent has a child who's being bullied, Dr. Healy. What are some of the signs, if they're not talking about it, if they don't come home and tell their parents, if they're not telling somebody at school, what are signs that parents can look for? Because you hear of tragedies that happen and the parents say, I had no idea they were being bullied.
Well, there are many signs. It can be changes in eating habits, in sleeping, more irritability. Students who just look distressed, they no longer are with their peer group and their friends, they're isolated. It can be that they come home with their belongings damaged, their clothing torn, or maybe they have a mark or a bruise. And just that general sense, that antenna that a parent has that says, something's up, something's wrong. And that's the time to start talking.
And even if a kid, let's say you ask them, they show those signs and you ask them, they go, I'm fine. I'm fine. Clearly they're not. So what do you need to do? Do you keep pushing them? Do you keep asking them? How do you find out what's happening?
And that's where school counselors can be very helpful as well, to visit with school personnel, to find out from them also what is going on at school. And so that they can hear that perspective from and share that with the school counselor and encourage them, it's okay to tell, it's necessary to tell.
You have to, so that we can help you make it better. And Kimberly, you talk to these kids, you see what they're going through. Do you ever maybe see a kid that's showing these signs and you go up and you ask them, hey, what's going on with you?
Sure, and then you empower them to either speak on their own behalf or you speak on their behalf. We'll do situations where we role play, okay, how are you going to tell your parents, or how are you going to tell, you know, an administrator? But it's getting everybody involved and empowering kids to do that.
Right. And Christian, you work with a lot of young people. What are your thoughts on this? What are some good ideas and some good tips for parents?
The biggest indication that I have, like knowing that someone's being bullied, is when they actually don't want to go to school. You know, they get up in the morning and they don't want to turn up.
Stomachache, headache, all that.
There's sickness. They say they feel sick. With me, I actually, when I was happy, I ate less. When I was really unhappy, I actually ate more, and it was just a vicious circle. So I ate more, I got bigger and bigger, and I got teased for being bigger than the other kids. But again, what I say to a lot of the children that I mentor and talk to is that you're not different. It's not your fault, and you know, if something does happen, you need to talk about it, especially to your parents. And you know, your parents will never reject you and say, "Oh, don't be silly. It's not true."
They love you.
They do,
no matter what.
Yeah,
and they want your life to be good.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of kids struggle with is that they feel they can't go to the teachers or the school principal. They feel that no one's listening. And look, it is hard. You know, you've got hundreds, thousands of kids in a school that if they all came to you every day and said that they were being bullied, you know, the teachers wouldn't be teaching anymore. They'll just be handling the bullying situation. So,
and that's where we've built a 397 safe line in Northside School District so that students can report anonymously. And we've done teacher training and counselor training so that there is that high level of awareness, and PTA training so that they are ready to respond and take it very seriously.
I'm a big believer that schools and even teachers, they know who the bully is. You just know. You know, I could walk into any school, I'll sit in a classroom for half an hour with 30 kids and I'll know who are the cool kids, you know, who are the kids that study, who are the kids that need a bit of help with their homework, who are the bullies and who are the ones being bullied. You just know. It's easy to pick.
So maybe we need to call you and get you to sit in the classroom. That might be good.
We actually went out and we talked to some viewers, and we have a question, and could you guys just look at the monitor here and then we'll have you answer the question.
My question is, if my kid's being bullied, should I get in contact with the parents or contact the school first?
Good question.
Kimberly or Dr. Healy?
Contact the school first. We never encourage parents to go directly to, you know, the other parent. We want administrators involved and teachers involved.
School first then.
Dr. Healy, you agree?
Yes, and put it in writing. I think it's so important that parents can give as much specific information. Where is it happening? At the bus stop, in the cafeteria? Put it in writing and share with school officials.
So that you can be aware.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely go to the school first. Like there's, you know, you're ringing up another parent. No parent likes to be told that their child is a bully.
Right.
No one.
That's like saying, you know, your outfit's horrible, or you know, it's an insult to them.
They
So
get
in their
defensive.
parenting.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Thanks,
don't go
guys.
anywhere.
Don't go. Stay right there.
Not going anywhere.
stuff.
After the break, we continue our conversation. More advice for you parents if your child is being picked on at school.
That's right. Plus, what to do if your child is perhaps on the other end of the spectrum, the bully. That's coming up. Stay with us. Daytime at 9. We'll be right back.